had this secret. There's a darkness inside of me. It followed me here. And it's gonna keep coming for us. We share a certain history. This isn't like any other ghost face. What is this place?
A shrine.
We've got to lure him in. We execute him.
Hello.
Let's play a game.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Maybe. But there's never been one like me, Gale.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for Scream 6. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
What's your scary? No, look at him. What's your
Wow, you gave me shit before the podcast, and yours was worse.
That was my impression of you.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Also joining us, Radio Watson's Buddy Watson.
Hello, one and all.
Yeah. So we're all fresh, very fresh from the cinema. We're going to be diving straight into our thoughts on Scream 6. But first, we recorded a full ranking of the first 5 Scream movies, so you should go check that out. If you want to know what we think of the Scream movies, the link's in the show notes below. But, you know, obviously we like the franchise as a whole. They're all very good. And the list will surprise you as to what's number 1 and what's number 2. Probably not, but yeah. So let's just dive straight into this one. But please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot themes and endings of the movie. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. It's, of course, in cinemas probably now by the time this comes out. Hopefully, for your sake. With that said, let's jump to a discussion of Scream 6, directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. Written by James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick. Starring Melissa Barrera, Jasmin Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, Jenna Ortega, Hayden Panettiere, Jake Champion, Henry Czerny, Liana Liberato, Dermot Mulroney, Devyn Nekoda, Tony Revolori, Josh Segarra, and Samara Weaving. 4 survivors of the Ghostface murders leave Woodsboro behind for a fresh start in New York City. However, they soon find themselves in a fight for their lives when a new killer embarks on a bloody rampage. Buddy, what did you think of Scream 6?
I actually really enjoyed it, and just from what you were saying before, reading out all the cast names, plenty of cannon fodder. Very, very violent. Loved the kind of, I guess, can it be called a twist, really? The change up for the series actually having 3 killers. I think it's one of the most iconic scenes when there's the...
Is it 3?
Is it 3? Well, it's a little.
Does Dermot Mulroney kill anybody?
He's a part of the grooming process.
Not because he's a little bitch.
He's a part of the grooming process, but it kind of spawned one of my favorite scenes of maybe the whole entire franchise, with the double ghost-faced stabbing of one of the twins, and the turnaround and the kind of synchronized
That's gonna be
knife
that's gonna
blade
be a GIF.
clean. So yeah, I loved that, and I loved that kind of in that moment they both got to keep their ghost-faced attire on whilst still in the chase. Usually that happens after the reveal and there's just ghost-faced attire but demasked, so I kind of liked that as well. There's still that kind of intrigue. I loved Kirby being back. I don't know if she got her just desserts as a character as a whole from how she is in number 4 and how she got to portray her character in this, and that might be partially or deliberately because of the kind of the curveball they throw towards the end with a kind of all the little threads that they throw that she could actually be the killer. So maybe they had to not give her as much or not make her have as much cheek or spunk or intelligence that she did because of the little breadcrumbs that they leave that, it could be Kirby. And I was shocked when they even insinuated that. I'm like, oh, please don't be
You know what
Kirby.
I thought when that happened?
Yeah.
Dylan's going to be pissed.
I was going to be pissed. I'm like, hashtag kill the cheerleader. Fuck this. So yeah, heaps of gruesome scenes. Unlike Jason Takes Manhattan, they kept up to their word and actually had, made use of the New York setting. A lot of daylight kills. I feel like they were a lot more campy in this one than maybe in previous ones, kind of towards themselves and being self-referential outside of the actual horror genre, but the stab and all the proceedings of the Woodsboro murders in this being the camp, not and being the meta references than outside more so. So, yeah, my first instinct is I really enjoyed it, even though it was completely different vibe to maybe 1, 2, 4, and even 5 with its kind of, I guess, more conservative, safe reboot in Woodsboro. This feels like Scream 3, but way better. A different setting. different setting. Still kind of playing that, that campiness, but the right amount. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see it again tomorrow, because I saw it tonight with Brad from work. I'll be seeing it tomorrow night with Kim as well. So, who knows? Maybe my thoughts will be strengthened or lessened before them.
What was Brad's thoughts?
He really enjoyed it. He liked it. So I'm talking in the car about like some of the stuff he loved. Hayden Panettiere, the 3 killers. Obviously the setting as well. Loved the shotgun scene. That was fantastic. The tension that kind of built. And then obviously the ladder scene, which felt like it took forever, but it was good to have a little bit more tension in that. And absolutely shocked and amazed that Gale actually survived, and the twins actually survived. I'd love to know how many times they've both been stabbed now. So
I like how that's a bit. I hope they just keep. I hope that keeps going. Chad just dies every film. Yeah. Like, yeah, fucking survives.
And when Kirby, process, like just letting it blurt all out there. But just when Kirby first rocked up and she was like the FBI agent, I'm like, motherfucking Veronica Mars, here we go. Let's go. This is a Veronica Mars-like arc for her. But yeah, enjoyed it.
Dylan.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I really, really liked it. I think the thing that, so if I'm thinking about the things I like the most about the movie, the thing that comes to mind first and foremost is I just really enjoyed the character work of the new characters. I think that's the thing that stands out the most, is that unlike Scream 2, which it does obviously build upon Sydney's story and stuff, I feel like this movie did a lot more to build upon the what they called it, the core 4.
The core 4.
The core 4. I really feel like, yeah, they Sam's story and a whole throughout the whole movie, even right up until the ending, the teasing of she gonna turn to the dark side, or she gonna turn into a killer sort of thing, and the way they play with all that. I think Jenna Ortega getting obviously a lot more to do in this film compared to just spending half of it in the hospital and stuff like that. Yeah, like walking crazy. Was really, really good. So you get to see a lot more of that dynamic. But I mean, even the other two, I really what's her name? I forget the actress's name now. Jasmin Savoy Brown. She obviously, her and Mason Gooding both get more to do in this film. Obviously not to the extent of the sisters as the sort of the main characters, but I felt like they both still got enough to do. Kirby was fine. It was about as much as I expected, to be completely honest. And I felt like if they'd given her more, it would have been sort of unjust. Like, she is... even though she was part of the film that was the first attempt as sort of rebooting the franchise, I guess she does. Yeah, she even herself puts herself in those legacy. She puts herself in that legacy character category, and Gale even didn't get that much to do this film, which was good. The film just, for the most part, stuck to being this new franchise almost of Scream, and I really enjoyed the focus on the new characters and that overall direction. The opening to this film, I think, is a new old time classic. I loved the whole the moment old mate from Spider-Man stabbed that Samara Weaving at the start, and I'm expecting the slash sound cut to some music, camera crane shot over a school, just the typical sort of thing. I'm just so used to it, and the fact it just hung on his face, I'm like, yeah. Yeah, and he took the mask off. I was like, what? What are you doing to me? You can't do this. Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed all that. But it's funny, the movie, is both like breaks, I guess, does what it says it's going to do and like sort of subverts expectations and all that Mindy brings up in the film, of course, when she does her whole Randy pitch scene, which was very good. Not quite as good as the Randy pitch scene she does in the first one. She just sort of makes fun of Star Wars fanboys and stuff, but I still enjoyed that for what it was. But it is still follows, actually, when you think about it, Scream 2. Like Scream 2 is the mother, this is the father. So like it still has that like sort of connective fabric, which I think is really good. I'm really glad it wasn't Josh Segarra as the bad guy, because I actually really like him in most things he's in that I've ever watched him in. I like him as he's usually just like a chill, like everything I watch him in, I'm like, you're a good dude. I feel like you're a good dude. I could take it if he was the bad guy.
Wasn't the first thing you saw him in Arrow where it was like the main villain for a season?
Was it? I don't know. But was he really the bad guy in that? Or was Oliver Queen the bad guy? Anyway, and I think the other thing, I'll shut up before we move on, you can get your thoughts, is the fact that not only did they do this film release it like 12 months, under 12 months prior to the first one, but same directors, same writers, but none of it feels the same. Like none of the, not locations different and everything, but also just the kills, the pacing of the chase scenes, everything like that. So they have like obviously the ladder scenes, like the big thrilling sequence. So they try and do a repeat of like the major fake out scene from the house in the first one. Like everything feels unique. They don't rest on their laurels and try and do anything the same just because it worked in the first film and got a pop. If you want to use a wrestling reference, but they sort of go for new things, which I really, really appreciate. So that was the other thing I liked. How about you, Ash?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think it's probably better than their first Scream, last year's Scream, in my opinion, right off the bat, like fresh out of the cinema. I just really loved all the character work, like how they're building up Sam and her struggles. And I think the idea of the killers using this, like a big motivation that it turns out this the whole time was they're wanting to destroy their character before they actually kill them, and how relatable that is, and how much that is a very common thing, even without murdering the person at the end. Nowadays, like character assassination is almost as bad as killing somebody.
Unless they deserve it.
Huh?
Unless they deserve it.
Unless they deserve it, Yeah. I think, really fantastic, some really fantastic scenes. I think the subway scene is probably the highlight. It's like, that was the most freaky, like, man, who would want to go on a New York subway train after watching this movie? It's like, nah.
I didn't want to before this.
I'm bringing a flashlight,
Yeah, I was going to say, who would want to go on one in general? Every time you see him in movies, I'm like, that looks like Germ Central. Like,
I think they found a way to weave so much into it. Like Dylan said, it's interesting how close this kind of is to Scream 2. They kind of bring it up how it's like Stab 2. They all went to college. It's like, yeah, they all went to college. There's even like, obviously they bring up the van scene of Randy dying and how that was in Scream 2. Even like, it turns out her boyfriend was perfectly fine the entire time. Didn't result in his death this time, so that's a plus. Again, going back to family, being a relation of the killer from the previous movie. It did very much all that. I think you can see this one, you see more parallels between the original cast and like the new cast. Even though, Sam is very much darker than Sydney. She's obviously playing that leading role. And I enjoyed how they kind of weaved Gail in, even though she's not in it greatly. It was shocking to hear that that's the first time she's like talked to a ghost face before, out of these 6 movies, and her kind of having her own action set piece, I guess. But ripped to a muscle brown boyfriend, I guess, who muscles didn't do much. She was taken out by either that scrawny kid or
I was
scrawny girl.
Yeah, the girl. That other guy's a little bitch.
Yeah, and like you said, the whole reveal. I don't know when did you guys suspect?
So I suspected
Certain
the
people.
detective fairly early.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be. Obviously, I had no inkling or would have guessed that there was a swerve and that was his daughter and son and all that stuff. But as soon as early in that movie where they have that scene where it's like, he says to like some other cop, he's like, bring the Atlantic department and do a little bit of digging into this Kirby cat, like that. As soon as he said that, I was like, red herring, you're the guy. Yeah.
I think it was, for me, it was like, now both my kids are dead. But also that's forgetting that she talked about her brother dying in a car accident, like earlier in the film. I'm like, where did the other kid come from? So it was a misunderstanding that got me on the trail of the detective. So, but yeah, I think the Kirby misdirect was like, oh fuck, they're going to be really upset if this is true. It doesn't make a lot of sense. She did give like a weird look to the camera as she was walking away in the theater, but other than that, I don't think there was too much to go on. But yeah, it was cool seeing Kirby back, like her talking with Tyra in the theater about getting past being stabbed, being left for dead. Apparently, she died for 4 minutes. Came back to life. Yeah, really good. I really liked how they worked in all the previous. Obviously, the shrine thing, was really cool, and seeing all the little bits and pieces, and obviously all the drawings, I guess, which are done by Richie. Yeah, really, really effective. Buddy, did you have any thoughts on like the opening? My question is, what accent was Samara Weaving trying to do?
I thought
it was.
I was
her
asking
natural
myself,
accent.
is she Australian?
Yeah, she's Australian.
Okay,
it doesn't sound exactly.
No, she sounded dead set Australian. I just didn't. I actually didn't know she was Australian.
Yeah, she's Australian. So
There you
there's
go.
this whole bit where
She was on Parliament Away, I want to say, for a long time.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's the whole thing where everyone mistakes her for
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie, which is why it's funny in Babylon that her character hates her in Babylon.
Yep.
Yeah, opening was
There's my
awesome.
Babylon reference for this week, by the way.
Yeah, opening was fantastic. This is like, as I hate 4's opening, and it's just one of the dumbest openings ever. This is what 4 almost was like. This is what 4 was trying to do in spirit, but this is executed just so good. As soon as he takes off the mask and shows his face, I'm like, holy shit, he's getting killed for trying to be Ghostface. Which is cool because
Really?
Brad.
Did you think that? I thought it was like, oh shit, I forgot he was in this movie. What if
I didn't
we know
even
who the killer is the entire time?
I didn't even know that, but Brad after the movie was saying like, yeah, holy shit, as soon as he took off the mask, I was like, are we going to know who the killer is the whole time? And for me in the movie, it's as soon as he took off the mask, I'm like, holy shit, these guys are getting punished for trying to be the copycat ghost faces. This is fantastic. So I absolutely loved the opening. Yeah, opening fantastic.
Opening is great. Yeah, I think a good showcase of New York City, and obviously them being nervous, and
I'll tell you the other thing I find
also
really weird
quick
about
tie-in, bringing in Jenna Ortega to like have that quick. Obviously, they're making ties with her, and like they're obviously wanting to finish Richard's story and that kind of stuff. Also, they full on butchered his buddy and like stuck him in the fridge.
Yeah,
like the most
Messed up.
dismembered anybody's ever been in the Scream franchise. I think they never cut anybody that much.
the kills in this movie are pretty visceral.
A lot of head stabbings and knife twistings.
Mindy warned a decapitation, which is also one of my
That's
favorite
true.
little gags in the whole movie is when Chad's like running away through the thing, and then like one of the characters like swipes at the doll and like cuts the head off, and he's like, "Oh, decapitation!" Like, it's like such a small bit, but it made me laugh. I was gonna say it's kind of my little funny little trivia thing that when on the subway and obviously everyone's in like dressed up as Freddy and Jason, all these other Halloween characters and horror movie characters. I just find it so, I'm like, you can't do that to her. There's someone dressed up as Samara Weaving's character from Ready or Not. I'm like, you just killed her. Why would you do that? I was like, that's so mean-spirited.
Yeah. It was also funny that she was a film studies teacher, like on slasher films, and explaining why slasher films are good and should be studied. Also love just her awkwardness and like her beating herself up for all the dumb stuff she's saying over the phone. Like, talking about people dying virgins and stuff. Yeah.
And shout out to the letterbox joke as well. That was hilarious.
Yeah, fucking letterbox nerds. Yeah, whatever.
Letterbox
Which
nerds.
makes it so much better because when the movie starts, I was like, I was of two minds. I'm like, okay, either he's gonna die or they're doing like the craziest swerve ever, and we're actually just gonna know who the killer is the entire time. And of course, I'm like, I'm open for either. Like, whatever. I'm open for both roads, but I'm trying to play it out in my head and stuff. But then I just found it. But then I was sort of getting annoyed. I'm like, I don't want another fucking movie where the main villain is just another person who wants to like fix that was the characters from last movie. They were obsessed with the movies and stuff, which is why it made it so good when he actually finally gets killed, and he's like, I just wanted to finish the movies, and the Ghostface gives the whole like, I don't give a fuck about the movies, like
It's funny because obviously throughout the film, Ghostface does mention the movies and that kind of stuff, sequels and that kind of stuff, but really his motivation is pure revenge.
Yeah, pure revenge.
Which is, I get different. Except, I guess, Scream 2, where Billy Loomis's mother kind of wants revenge.
Yeah. She wanted revenge, but what's his face? Other character just wanted fame.
Old Timothy Oliphant.
Old Timothy Oliphant. So when we get to Scream 7, we're going to go back to a single killer. Completely unrelated.
He's going to be cloned.
I love that Kirby on the board was like, oh, and there's Roman, the only single Ghostface. He had ambition. And I think I can't remember. I can't remember if that's one of his lines in Scream 3. I might be wrong, but somewhere in my mind palace, it kind of ticked a box for me.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It sounds familiar. How do we feel about how they write out Sydney in this movie? It kind of felt like they should have just not mentioned it. Maybe
she sends her love to you guys. Oh, it was good if she could have a happy ending. I'm like, and then Brad was making a funny point that like there was about trying to make a buck. There was like a few throwaway lines that like they just want to make a big buck or whatever. It's like he's like, are they making a jab at the whole Nev Campbell type situation? Surely not, are they?
No, that was all for Gale. That's suited Gale perfectly. That's just coincidence. I also hot take, just opinions, but. I don't care that, like, love Sydney, love Neve, everything. I don't care that she's not in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
I'd go one further with the hot takes. I actually would have preferred if Gale died.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm down. I don't care. At this stage,
I mean, it would have been very fitting. It would have been very Star Wars trilogy, the new trilogy.
Yeah.
Just kill off a legacy character
I'm like,
each time.
Why the fuck would Sydney come to New York? That would be dumb as fuck. If Sydney made her way to New York.
Just because there's Ghostface killing.
Yeah. And then if the plot's about this person trying to get revenge for Sam, against Sam killing whatever the character's name was, I can't remember. But
Richie.
For killing Reggie. For killing
Richie.
I'm like, Richie. Yeah, Richie. Then why the fuck would why does it care about Sydney? And yeah, just kill Gale. At this point, she's either the luckiest woman alive or, just chased every movie and somehow survives. At a certain point, it becomes ridiculous.
And rip to anyone who hadn't seen a lot of the franchises that Minnie was rattling off, where the main characters are like no longer safe and they're just like getting dropped off.
Yeah, I mean they're the biggest franchise in the world, so I mean it's not too much.
yeah, no big deal.
I mean, I didn't know Ripley died eventually, but whatever.
Well, spoiler alert.
Oh, spoiler alert. Yeah. Another great sequence was the Ghostface showing up in the apartment to kill in quotation marks Quinn, obviously leading up to that ladder sequence, which was really well done. Yeah, just from the start of Josh Segarra like screaming and not being able to be heard, as they're doing their dumb call for team meeting.
That's going to trigger a lot of people.
Yeah.
Call
for. Yeah, really good. Obviously, I love that. The Ghostface killer stole all the knives. I was smart enough to do that, and then
the girl obviously just took all the knives.
Quinn took all the knives. That makes sense.
Had to be someone in the house, so she.
Well, she was the Ghostface, so it can't. I'm technically correct. But then Sam uses just the block to bludgeon. Ghostface, I think, very effective.
The ladder sequence, very, very good. I just love how Ghostface, instead of just like reaching out and just stabbing her right in the leg or like tipping her straight off,
or pushing it forward.
Yeah, or pushing forward.
That's what I thought would have. I thought that
sadistic
would have been a
shake.
cool sequence in like them trying to save her and not being able to keep the ladder up. Yeah,
he's trying to fuck with her.
Yeah, that's
It gave me massive Judgment Night vibes, if anyone's ever seen that, where the kind of the heroes are running away from this kind of gang in a bad part of town, and they like have a makeshift ladder type thing to get from one part of the building to the other, and it's very tense. And then Jeremy Piven's character kind of sticks around because he doesn't want to go across it and eats dust. I was like, oh, the girlfriend's gonna make sure she gets across and maybe throw the ladder and just that should be enough and sacrifice her. But yeah, that was brutal because they just showed her going all the way down and like whacking the dumpster. It was full on.
Just seeing her face after she hit the dumpster as well. So
I really hope in the next one Mindy gets to keep her partner.
I mean, yeah, it's a little bit homophobic, isn't it? Killing off all these queer partners.
Yeah.
And
keep the black guy around, but
keeping all the heterosexual partners around, but
yeah. I can just keep killing off all the gay characters. All right.
Yeah. I don't want to start any beef, but it's
a
weird trend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other?
If you know, hold on, I was gonna say on romances. How do we feel about the Chad and Tara thing?
It's fine.
Yeah. That's how I feel too.
Again, it's kind of weird. Like in my mind, like I guess Tara's kind of taking that gal role, and Chad's kind of taking that Dewey role of the guy gets stabbed constantly, and is not really that helpful in certain situations.
Nah, you gotta get that out of your head. They're all original characters. They're not like fitting roles, and
I mean, a little bit.
Nah.
And Mindy's
Sam's
Randy.
nothing.
Clearly,
Sam's
Mindy is
nothing
very
like.
Randy. Yeah.
Sam's nothing like Sydney. That's the whole point.
I mean,
One thing I laughed out loud, and I think I was like, it was definitely audible from my side and not a lot of people around us, but when Sam goes to like punch Gal and she like dodges it, and I just like, ha! and then Tara gives her a whack, and then I laughed even louder. So that was a great moment.
It's interesting because I feel like Tara has been written more for Jenna Ortega this one than the previous film, especially with her getting a lot of exposure in the last 12 months.
Well, it's really weird because obviously the thing that sort of pushed her into superstardom is Wednesday, but that I think they filmed this prior, or it's not like they wrote and filmed this off the success of Wednesday. It's just sort of worked out well.
Yeah, it's very weird. Also, the opening with her and almost going up with what do you call him? Frankie Date
Rape guy. Yeah. Frankie Date Rape. Yeah.
Very weird. Any other key sequences or moments you want to talk about?
Shotgun scene, absolutely loved it. How tense it was.
I mean,
when Sam throws the can, I'm like, oh, video game, cool.
I do this in Last of Faction.
And I'm like, how the fuck are they getting out of this? And Ghostface is clumsy, obviously, just gets taken down. But Ghostface, he could have just, I don't know, stood at the door.
Where did all the other customers go? That's my question.
Bro, out of
that
there.
Bodega was
they're probably
very full.
They're probably used to like shit going down.
There was another exit. They just didn't notice it this entire time. Yeah.
I mean, in that scene, I was like, "Oh, they're fucked." Like, how do you get out of this one?
Yeah,
he's got a gun now. Like, you're fucked.
He's OP.
I mean, you count how many shots, right?
How many shots does a shotgun have, Ash?
I know, it depends.
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
4,
6 to 8, is it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
You play so many video games, how do you not have many shotgun shots?
Yeah, you're the one who reckons it's so easy. You just count his shots.
Well, he went through so many. That was really good. I mean, the subway, like, very scary. That also worked as a really good misdirect for the son as to like, oh no, he can't be the killer because he's standing right there. He's like trying to save her, but no, it turns out he's the killer. And then obviously the whole final fight, like, them taking him out, her like Tara like sticking the knife in his face after Sam lets go, which is a little bit on the nose for the conversation we've had on before. But then, yeah, I love Sam going, "Oh, it looks like you've lost another brother." Before shooting her in the head. Yeah.
Guess you're gonna die a virgin.
Yeah, I appreciate all that. The whole you gotta let go is very on the nose, but I'll take it. I'll take it. But yeah, I just the two get really fucked up, just like straight in the face, knife kills the two sisters. Appreciate that. Good for them.
And Brad put up a good point for like pretty much outside of the opening scene. For the majority of the movie, Sam and Tara are completely together in every scene outside of the let me go thing. So
yeah, compared to the first one where Tara's in the hospital and then she's at the hospital and then she's at a party.
Yeah,
I think that's about how that film. Oh, she's at a house at the start when she gets stabbed. That's right.
Yeah, she gets stabbed.
Shout out to I think it's Denzel Curry is playing during the house party. So once again, another cool contemporary song, just like 070 Shake Guilty Conscience in the last one. So the soundtrack continues to be good and relevant contextually.
Yeah. I mean, they had like Billie Eilish in the start of the film as well.
It was weird. I was getting very worried to start because they have the house party with Denzel Curry. Then they cut into a scene, I think, with Billie Eilish playing, and it's like kind of like an emotional scene with Tara.
Tara and
it's Tara and
Quinn
Quinn
about to make out,
and then Quinn leaves, and then Chad comes in. But I'm like, oh my god, are they doing this soap opera thing where they have like a different musical track over every kind of scene with dialogue? I'm like, are they doing this? Are they soap operaing it? Because please don't do this. So there was a little bit of worry.
They also used the Dewey theme song in a part where I was like, I don't think it was necessary there, to be completely honest, but whatever. Like there was
showing the shrine to Dewey.
No, Gail was
speaking to Sam.
Talking to Sam, and they were like speaking about like just. It didn't sound like it was it was. They were speaking about like, I don't know, people and like strength and whatever else. And I'm
being
like
alone and finding. And what do you do when you're alone?
Yeah.
And just find someone else that's
that sort of person or whatever. And I was like, I don't feel like this felt like it. This felt like you were looking for a place to put that in quickly, and that felt like the moment you've chose. But I didn't like it.
Yeah, and I know we've been gassing it up a bit. That the other kind of two things that I want to bring up that I wasn't a fan of, or they weren't crazy bad, but they lean, like I said, they lean more into being super campy when the detective's daughter is dead. Quinn's dead. He initially is like, they're gonna die, or he has some really super on the nose camp.
I mean, that's kind of again.
Dialogue.
I feel like in hindsight, it's a sign.
It is.
He's
but,
clearly putting it on. Yeah,
just like it could be a difference between having that kind of dialogue or that kind of emotion. It's like, and then being a little bit too on the nose. And then, like I said, the writing of Kirby and having her kind of just rock up as, oh, now she's an FBI agent. Now it's like, oh, I instantly go Veronica Mars, and she doesn't really have any kind of sass, no character, no back and forth. Like, I guess she has grown up, or she has to process the trauma that she had. But I feel like she might have been a little bit more like directive, like, oh, fuck this guy, or a little bit more like jaded, or a little bit more smarter. And they kind of diminish her intelligence by like, Gail figured it out where the shrine was because of the investigative journalist, even though the clues were left for Kirby. And there was, Kirby, we'll check that Kirby's actually is Kirby, or all these other little things that kind of don't add up. And I know they're good little, like I said, grains of salt or whatever to kind of go, oh crumbs. Shit, at the end, like crumbs that like, oh, Kirby is the killer. I'm like, fuck, because when they really do have the shrine and all the evidence there, like, evidence gets lost. I'm like, fuck, it has to be a police officer, it has to be the detective or Kirby. I'm like, don't be Kirby. And then the police officer's daughter dies. I'm like, don't be Kirby. And they're like, she hasn't been in the force. I'm like, don't do this. Don't do this. This could derail everything right now. So I feel like maybe they wrote that in where they couldn't do that because they wanted her to be such a red herring. They couldn't have her be so kind of strong or have much of her character that she had before. And I feel like the lines that she had with Mindy, where they do the whole, "Oh, you're the horror fan too," I didn't.
Yeah.
It's cool, but the way it's executed comes off super lame. Like they're in the middle of this thing, like, "Oh, final favorite this," and I'm like, I know you're trying to get back to old Kirby right now, but like it doesn't feel like any of this is like, I don't know, earned is such.
I mean,
a
it's
weird
one of
word.
those classic old guard bonding with the new guard kind of
Yeah,
scenes.
I don't know. I feel like they could have had it instead of the lame. You say the same thing at once. It just, I don't know.
They should have just not.
Kirby's 30, right? Like the other, everyone else is in college, but she's 30, right? She's
Yeah, it was a
Kirby's
weird
like-
edge. Yeah,
She's
I
saying
guess.
she's in her 30s.
so there's some things that were a bit weird there.
She's 30.
I think she literally says she's 30. I think.
She says she's 30. Yeah.
So in real life, I think she's like 33, 34. I remember looking up her age.
Well, that makes sense because they always like age up the teenagers.
Yeah.
Not played by older people.
So
now.
maybe my mind will change after on a second viewing, but
On
that
a
was just
second
my
viewing,
initial take of like, oh, Kirby's in this, cool.
I would.
Oh
the
man,
main
they
thing I
didn't really
agree
give
with-
Kirby anything to do, or man, they made her look weak, or even her character
She did,
wasn't
like,
true to
get
herself.
shot.
She kind of, it just felt like she popped up and was saying lines and almost like winking to the camera every time she was briefly shown.
because obviously when she's in Scream 4, she's like this very cool. She's the cool girl, you know.
Yeah.
She's
Her
like,
character's
I don't give a
taken already in this
yeah,
movie.
She's exactly, which is the problem. She's like, I don't give a fuck about anything cool girl horror fan.
Who's the curl girl? Who do you think the curl girl is in this movie?
Mindy,
It's Mindy.
she's a cool girl.
She's the cool girl.
Even though I wasn't a fan of her rules and franchise things, and she had that line like, "I don't want to be fuck this franchise." I'm just like, oh, come on.
Mindy's the cool girl. Like that's how it works.
I
Come on,
don't.
now,
I
skip it.
don't. You know, I think you're mistaken.
No, you're
cool
wrong.
and-
I think you
horror
don't know.
nerd.
Cool, you would know a cool girl. Yeah, well, horror girls are cool girls.
Nerds
Ash. That's
are cool
the difference,
now,
'cause
okay?
You don't
It's
like
the-
horror movies, so you don't recognize the cool girls.
The script is the script has been flipped. All right, all the nerds are cool. All the
Yeah.
jocks, they're the losers.
They're the losers, yeah. I would I agree on some points of it. Like, I think that because of it would be dumb for her character personality to be the same as her high school personality, college personality. I think it would have been dumb. They could have done probably a better middle ground, but it definitely would have. Like, if she was doing the same character and still an FBI agent, I'd be like,
The problem is
Is it
it like
weird?
felt like she went from having personality to just nothing. And,
Well,
and not having it, like, even as a teenager with her quippy lines, she still felt like in her moment when she was on her Ghostface call answering all those trivia, she felt like strong and like, you know, stand up
Yeah.
and like, fuck this.
I
I felt like she had none of that.
The one thing that I would make, the major change I'd make that would fix a lot of the Kirby things is, you have her be the one who discovers the hideout, not Gale. Why give that to Gale? Other than to get her in that scene and everything like that.
Yeah,
Like,
Gail
you
gets
could
her
get her in the
unintelligent
movie, I
moment when
guess,
she puts
yeah.
old mate on hold,
Yeah,
which was hilarious.
That's-
I mean, that was.
that was
And
pretty
then
funny.
reverse calls. Yeah.
Yeah, reverse calls. That was pretty good. But yeah, I would you give that to Kirby. Would have been like a really would have been like she's super smart. She figured this out. Like that would have been like a really great thing to give her, but I sort of took it away, which is annoying. I do like the whole movie scene thing though. I know it's corny, but I don't mind the, you know, I appreciate these on the like really sort of almost cringy scenes. They have one in like nearly every movie, even with Randy, you know, like there's always like the sort of cringy thing, but the whole back and forth
Explaining the
about,
rules. Yeah.
well, no, just the Friday 13th. There's like final chapter. And she's like,
Oh,
ooh,
okay.
and it's like, oh, I had a crush on what's the fuck? Yeah, fair enough. And then
Very
like they name the things, and then the
It just
whole like
feels
Candyman
like,
remake.
it feels
of the
more
same. It's like,
organic being as a part of a conversation, not just like.
Yeah,
It
but
feels.
Hey,
These
I
characters-
think we have similar interests.
These are characters who stand up in rooms and go, all right, here are the rules for the movie we're in where we're being killed by serial killers. Like, it's really, it doesn't make any sense. Like, they have these conversations at times that are just exist in their own universe, I feel.
How do we feel about Sam putting on the Ghostface mask, killing old Dermot Mulroney, stabbing him several times, looking longingly at Billy Loomis's mask at the end of the movie?
Yeah. Good shit. I must say I do not like the voice changer. making a comeback.
Blame Scream 3.
Yeah, I am blaming Scream 3. That's really one thing I don't like. That was a thing that was continued on from Scream 3, but it's a minor nitpick. But
yeah, it's like I have to watch all future Star Wars movies knowing that fucking Palpatine was cloned. I just have to live with it. You know what I mean? Like
to live with anybody.
It's part of the canon now. It's part of the canon.
Midichlorians.
Yeah, midichlorians and whatever else. It's just there's some things you accept. Like the voice change is part of canon now. You gotta live with it. I personally love I was like, fucking stab him. Fucking how many's that? Like 20? Keep going. Fucking
So many.
Fucking stab the shit out of him.
I mean, it's interesting that like the reason they actually do want revenge is not so much that she killed him. It's because she like really wanted to kill Richie in the last
fucked
film.
him up.
And like what she says at the start of the movie, I stabbed him 22 times and slit his throat.
Yeah.
So,
I also like how Tara like she stops obviously as soon as Tara walks in and is trying to do the right thing and be like, oh, I'll stop now that my sisters walk in. And then Tara gives her permission. It's like, well, you just fuck up my family. And like, boom.
I mean, it's also interesting because Tara kind of had like a moment when she's twisting that knife in the dude's throat. Like, she kind of gives the look that she kind of enjoyed it as well. So,
yeah, good. Hope she did. Sick fucks.
Is the next movie just the two sick fucks trying to, sate their need to kill across the country?
Next movie opens with someone trying to kill Sam and Tara, and they just turn around and they just kill fucking Ghostface right at the start of the movie. Like they just fucking get him straight away. It doesn't even get in. Credits.
Credits, and then we get to another completely different movie.
Completely different movie, yeah.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts on Scream 6? That's the one.
That's the one. 6. Good job.
People are going to hate the fuck out of this. I think
Why?
I think it's going to be more like for the people that didn't like 5. I can't see
doubling
them
down.
this.
Yeah,
it's doubling down. So I think it's going to be divisive. But
I think the only people who dislike it are the people like if you don't like the new characters, then yeah, obviously if you didn't like the new characters in the last film, then and you're going into this expecting to like it, you're an idiot. Like if you didn't like those characters,
I don't know. I think this will win. I think I think they go deeper into the characters, so maybe people will like it more and understand where they're coming from. And they've kind of accepted that the franchise is going in a new direction. So that would be my hope. And obviously, people like Jenna Ortega a lot more than they did last year.
Racism. None of the characters none of the main characters, the core 4 are white. That's the problem with this movie, Ash.
I mean, yeah.
They keep killing the white characters.
Tony Revolori.
And the gay ones.
First Ghostface killer of color. So, I mean,
True.
Very woke, this movie.
Very woke.
The survivors can be killers. So it can be colored, and the killers can be colored. Although it does end, again, with a family of white people murdering a bunch of people of color. So,
all right, here's how he starts. I just figured actually how I want Scream 7 to start. Scream 7 starts with Chad dying. And then at the end of the movie, reveals he's okay.
All right. Man, I mean, could you? Of course, as soon as he kissed her, you knew it was going to get stabbed a bunch of times.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, buddy, did you stick around to the end of the credits?
No. Was there something?
Yeah, there was something.
Yeah, just tell me. I don't care.
So, remember? So we wait all the way to the end of the credits.
Nah,
and
no
it's a moment pulled from the explaining the franchise scene, and it's just Mindy going, "Not every movie needs an end credit scene," and then cut to black.
Fucking good job.
Literally, someone in my audience yelled out, "Oh, fuck you!" to the screen.
So you can't reward those people. You have to punish those
super
people.
Effective.
Let's stop rewarding that type of behavior. You probably stick around so you can write an article. Go, was there a fucking end credit scene? And
I've got half written.
Click on it, and then and then I'll click on it and go, there was this brief part. Then you'll explain it. I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't need to see that. Thank you, Ash.
No, I'm going to say. I'm literally going to say that was the response to the scene. If you want to find out, you better stick around to the end credits.
Before you got on here, we started recording this. Ash was like, "Did you stay to the end?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, don't fucking tell me." Like, oh, fucking.
I'm like, "No, it's Scream. It's an actual fucking
crazy.
movie."
Billy Loomis's body came back from the dead.
Yeah,
through the grave.
Fucking Scream.
Hand through the grave.
Fucking Marvel. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm not sticking around to the end of the credits. I stuck through? I stuck through the main credits. All the people with the actors' names, all that. As soon as that was done, I was out.
I will say this franchise is more about family than the Fast and the Furious will ever be. So
no, that's
that's going too far. All right.
How many characters drink Coronas in this movie? None.
Wow. All right. Yeah. I guess only other thing, buddy. What do you want? Do you want to Scream 7?
Yeah, of course. I'm fucking selfish. I want this shit. Okay. It's at its core, the franchise is still, how do I say it? True to itself. Unlike other franchises that just keep pumping out movies and side movies. Yes. Yeah.
Again,
people are like, buddy, you got your blinkers on. This is doing the same. People be saying that, but nah.
Like I pitched in our Scream rankings, I want Sam to go off the edge.
Yeah.
I want her to be Ghostface next
She'll
movie.
go a little mad sometimes.
Yeah. Do you know? Okay.
Nah.
She takes out the core 4. You know?
Nah.
I hate this name.
I'm down for a Scream 7. I wouldn't be surprised. So if this movie does as well in its opening weekend as the first one did, I honestly would not be surprised if we just get an announcement that they're doing it.
Do you reckon they've got an idea already?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah. They had the idea for this.
They're going to redo Scream 3.
The credits should have been that mask on the ground, and like someone walks over and a hand picks it up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's franchise bait for you.
It's going to be, they're going to do the Stab reboot, and people will be killed on that set.
I was like, I did like where Kirby, like people was like saying, "Oh, the Stab," whether she's going over like all the criminals and the masks and stuff. It's like, yeah, but there was more Stab movies, right? And she's like, fucking. All right, those other movies.
There was really 9 kills. It's crazy.
9 kills. Yes, I definitely want another movie, and yeah, I reckon I'll be shocked if this movie doesn't make more money in its opening weekend than the last one did. And going off that, I presume we get an announcement that they're greenlighting this pretty quickly.
Yeah,
because we're sort of like obviously renaissance of like horror movies you could put down to Blumhouse and stuff, but they weren't doing slashers, right? So this is like Scream is like renaissance of slashers, and slashers when done well, and the reason they were so popular in the 90s is because they made a lot of fucking money for not a lot of budget, and studios are gonna they're happy, right? And especially in a world where this last one reviewed as really well and beloved, it wasn't that it made a bunch of money and got fucking 1 out of 10 reviews. It reviewed well, it made a bunch of money, made people happy. If this one is anywhere near the same that opening weekend, which I think it will be, they're going to greenlight the fuck out another one. And I'm down. I like these characters. I really like the core 4. I'm down for another film.
Do we need core 4 t-shirts?
Yeah, I'm down. I'll wear them. Core 4.
Which core 4 member are you? All right, let us know what you thought.
Are you waiting for me to answer? Is that what you're doing? Oh, I'm just for sure. I'm a fucking psychopath.
Well, I'm clearly.
It's true. It's true. He is actually.
I'm not going to get stabbed multiple times right though into the movie. You know. No, I was pausing because Dylan was going, "Oh, she's a kill girl, the whole entire time," and that's the one he thinks he is. Yeah, let us know what you thought of Scream 6 by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Tell people about the show. Leave us 5 stars. Anywhere you can leave 5 stars. And of course, check out explosion.com for all our news, reviews, articles, including our Screamed Ranked article. I'm not going to ask you to rank them right now because I think you need some more time to marinate, but we'll probably have an update of that article in the next month or so. Of course, you can find Radio Watson on all good podcast services. You can follow Radio Watson on Twitter or Instagram at Radio Watson _ or you can find Buddy Watson on those places, Buddy Watson 12.
Yes, you can. Hashtag justice for Kirby.
Is that, I don't know if she needs justice,
Just saying.
She did get to, like, take the dude's head off with a
I'm like,
TV.
I hate franchises. I hate stupid spin-offs. Give me the Kirby TV show. FBI Kirby.
Here's something I forgot to ask on that ranked episode. Scream TV series. Is that something I need to watch?
You don't need to watch it. It has its moments. It's as a whole maybe good to bad, especially when they rebooted into season 3, even though season 2 ended on a cliffhanger and they were doing good things. It probably has 2 of the more likable characters across all 6 movies and TV series, and because they're probably Randy split into 2, but with an edge, when you have Noah and his bestie with the short haircut. Oh,
I don't
terrible.
know any of the names.
Terrible. But I think for those characters alone and their interaction and him being a podcaster, there's a lot to kind of resonate there and that. And being set in a high school as well, with kids that actually look like high schoolers outside of the other crew. I think it has moments, but not essential.
It was good.
Don't
It's
rush
also not canon.
Yes.
So you don't know.
Would you rank it above 2 or 3?
No, I would rank it nowhere. I wouldn't rank it above any of the stuff. I wouldn't even include it in a ranking. It's in its own thing.
I wouldn't put it above 3.
Yeah,
no,
I wouldn't put it above 3 either.
Okay, good to know. Well, thank you very much for listening. Until next time. Keep watching stuff, I guess.
I will.
Good.
I'm something different.
That's why I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
You want me. So let's finish this.
Guys?